What if AI isn't what you think it is? What if it is not about taking over your job, but something else entirely? AI is not here to replace us. It's here to empower us.
Our focus is on how do you still keep humans throughout the process. So when people think about AI, I don't want to say it's replacing people. What it will do instead is really amplify where somebody is today, as long as they just have the mindset on, hey, let's just give this a try.
This week on the Midweek Motivation Podcast, we're uncovering how working with AI can transform your industry with Joel Reyes, founder of A.I Founders Academy.
I don't believe in like a scarcity mindset. I believe in abundance, and I think that there is plenty for all, and that's how I live my day to day.
Raised by a single mother, Joel knows resilience firsthand, and now he's channeling the same drive into helping others embrace the future of AI. Stick with us through Joel's story, and make sure you subscribe so you can catch every single moment of insight along the way. Welcome to the Midweek Motivation Podcast, where we uncover powerful stories, practical tools, and fresh perspectives to help you grow, lead, and stay motivated. I'm your host, Neale, so let's dive in. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I have a really good friend of mine that I met in Fiji last year, Joel Reyes. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for being on. I've been wanting you to come on for ages because you're such a great speaker, and I think the audience can really benefit from your knowledge and experience.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and it's been an honor to meet you in Fiji, and excited to continue to touch base.
Yeah. Well, I guess for the audience, who is Joel? Tell me where does your journey start?
So Joel is a native-born New Yorker. Grew up in the '80s in the Upper West Side, and single parent. And then I started my project management journey probably in my early 20s, which got to me where I am today. And today I am the founder and CEO of a company called the A.I Founders Academy.
Fantastic. And this is what you were talking about in Fiji. This was one of your big plans that you were happening. You were talking about a course at the time, but is this what has evolved into?
Yeah, it's totally evolved. So initially, when we first met in Fiji, we were talking about just a course helping entrepreneurs starting to leverage AI, and what it's turned into is an actual community. So it's a community that also has courses, content, and then networking opportunities for each other, for them to really learn from each other. For us to implement everything from or showing them how to teach everything from prompt engineering to how to automate their emails to setting up their websites, setting up logo designs, really thinking through end-to-end processes.
Right. So is AI, was this something that you always had a deep interest for? Were you keeping track of this when they were developing AI? For me, in my experience, just one day ChatGPT showed up out of nowhere and everyone was talking about it. But obviously This has been in the pipeline for a long time. What's your experience with getting into AI?
Yeah, so AI has been around, I don't know, probably 60 years or so. But I would say the front end where everybody was really starting to use it happened probably about 3 years ago. And I had an opportunity to actually switch some of the work that I was doing in one area, shift that out, and then take on the AI space in another area. So I ended up I freed up my time to be able to take this work on.
Okay. And so were you using this for your professional career then, when you started?
Yeah, exactly. Essentially what I was doing was managing teams that helped to develop AI products and services, and then also to work with our large language model partners.
Yep. And were you scared at first with AI, seeing its power? No. Okay.
No, not at all. I remember when it first came out, my thought was everybody should be using this. Because I could see what it can do for people and for individuals, especially for people who are stuck in an idea phase where they just don't know what to do. They can think of it just as a thought partner for just get them to that next step. So I was super excited right from the beginning, and still am today.
Yeah, I mean, I try and use I use ChatGPT all the time, but you try and use AI as much as I can and just learn from it, because just now that it's in our society, right? And for businesses, I think it's really important to start utilizing the AI technology to not only just stay ahead of competition, but just to constantly evolve. And then I think it becomes a really good tool for just having someone to just shoot out ideas and help plan things. Not that I use it to replace my job entirely, because I think, especially coaching, I think AI is still a long way from becoming its own coach, but at least it gives you sort of guidance and direction on, say, okay, I have a plan to, for example, transition to full-time PT. How many clients will I need, and what will be my strategy to try and get more clients, for example? That could be that's I guess a real example I use in the last 6 months.
Yeah, yeah. I find a lot of people exactly that. Use it for planning. Use it for ideation on like content generation. Um, Even for coaching. I've got somebody who's using it to they do psychiatry. So it's like using
Yep.
it to record their psychiatry notes so that way they can spend more time with clients versus having to do the manual work of kind of writing down their notes. They still review everything. So our concept is like human in the loop. So they can focus
Yep.
on, hey, they want to spend more time with clients and reduce the manual labor on some of these other activities.
Definitely. If we can improve our efficiency at our tasks, then that gives us more time to focus on other projects or more pressing matters that like we should be
Yeah,
delving our time to.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's say you had someone who's hesitant to use AI, and they're talking to you about it. What would you say to someone who is maybe hesitant AI because they're worried about this AI taking over the world, for example, or stealing their information, their private information, or maybe just replacing someone's job? What would you say to them?
Yeah. So I would ask them, I would try to dig in and find out like what are they really nervous about. So for example, if they use the internet, they use web browsers. Like web browsers have access to your information. Similar with AI, it's got access to your information, but there are settings that you could do to have privacy settings on it. From a job perspective, I believe that AI will take jobs, but I also believe that more jobs will be created because of AI than will be reduced. And the challenge is going to be actually filling in the gap of people knowledgeable enough about AI to actually fill those roles. So I think that's the area that we're heading in now.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I think it's really important for young people now getting into the scene with learning computers, internet, to be using AI to help them. I think that they're going to be the ones who really take this to the next level in the future. Imagine
Yep.
what AI can be in 10, 20 years, 30 years, right? It's huge.
Yeah, I'm meeting with a couple of teachers, and some of them are asking their students, like they're focusing on how do we use AI for not cheating, and it's like, well, how do you use the AI more
Uh,
so as like I'm working with them, like, hey, let's use it more as a thought partner, and how do we build curriculum on how do we use these different tools to expedite their learning, as an example.
yep. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So winding it back a bit, before AI, so you were in, I guess, a corporate space in project management. How did you get into that?
Yeah. Um, so probably my first project management. I don't know if you ever heard of Craigslist.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, so I worked at a company for about 3 years, and then I went on Craigslist and I put my resume on it because I saw a project coordinator role, and I
Okay.
was like, this role sounds like familiar, like it sounds like something that I could do. So they ended up calling me, and then they hired three of us out of 300 to
Oh,
work on, and it was like financial technology area, managing like migrations from like one technology to another,
yeah.
which I thought, yeah, I could totally do this. So I was a contract there, and I'm still in touch with those three people that they hired. Like we have like a little pod, and 20 years later, we're still friends. I ended up staying at that company for 10 years, moving into project management, project coordinator to project management, to then reporting to their head of their PMO organization. And she actually gave my first full-time opportunity. So it's because of her that I learned how to manage a PMO and run a PMO and kind of understand the different processes and procedures of like how to truly build a team. From there, I was there like 9 or 10 years. I shifted to another company, still doing project management that evolved into program management, which is just managing a group of related activities or projects and programs. And then I ended up about 5 years ago managing an actual program management team. So that's kind of how my journey evolved into starting from project coordinator through to managing an actual team of project and program managers.
Awesome. And then along that journey, as you're getting to this next level into your career, did you find that your stress or lifestyle changes happened during that process?
Stress or lifestyle? I think my one talent is that I work really well under stress. So feedback I get all the time is, Joel, we can never tell if you are stressed or angry. You're very cool, calm, and collective. But definitely it did increase. With the increase in responsibility and then with the increase of nurturing and mentoring a team, like you
Yeah.
naturally think through, you know, how do you think through the best of the team plus the best of the organization?
Yeah.
Yes, stress definitely increased, but in a good way. Like I was blessed enough to also have a lovely support system throughout my career.
That's really good because, yeah, I mean, a little bit of stress is healthy, right? We need that
Yeah,
to grow. Um,
yeah.
it's when I think if you're not ready or don't have any systems in place in your current lifestyle where things can break apart. Do you have something that you do on a day-to-day basis or that you even still do now to help manage your stress and preventing burnouts, and just being focused on your tasks?
So I did start a meditation practice. I don't do it every day, but definitely at least 3 to 5 times a week in the middle of the day. It's just a 20-minute relaxation on just to like deep breathing and just refocus myself to say, okay, I do it like 2 o'clock is my time, like 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So at 2 o'clock, it's like, okay, let me take a quick break, let me reset, and then I use it as an opportunity to say, okay, I've got 3 more working hours. It's a lot more, but I use it to say, okay, well, did I achieve what I wanted to do? And then what does the rest of my day look like? So typically what I'll do is I'll line in the morning on like, here are my top 3 things I need to do. I try to finish that by 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock is my like, okay, reset time. And then I think through, okay, what's the next needle moving activity that I need to work on for the rest of the day?
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's so important to have small moments in our day or in our in our week where we
Yeah,
slow down.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Other moments throughout your day where you find to slow down or just helps like give your mind a complete reset.
Definitely my routine now is also back into fitness. I think you and I had spoken about that in Fiji. So I've
Yes.
gotten a lot better at doing that first thing in the morning and enjoying the process. So, 5 a.m. club, 6 a.m. club, that's where it's like, all right, I just put my headphones on and it's just like it's go time. So it's like that time where I'm like, it's really just for me. And then
Yep.
also picking up a practice of doing more reading throughout the week as well.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. So we meet in Fiji, and half of the retreat was a health and wellness like seminar. And
Yep.
that was 4 days, 3 or 4 days of that, and then we spent on time on wealth. So coming into that, were you more excited going into that health side or the wealth side, or both?
Yeah, a bit of both. So my journey with Tony, with Tony Robbins, was I started with the UPW in Dallas. And I think about UPW, the Unleash the Power Within, is like, hey, here's your like adrenaline shot to kind of get you where you want to go. And then I had joined Mastery University, which is his next set of programs. And I was like, okay, if this is the adrenaline shot, then Life Mastery, where we went, was more about how do you make those lessons more sustainable. So it's like, okay, now I've got the shot. Now, what are the principles to like keep this for the rest of my life? And then also on the wealth side, it was I do a lot of like passive income investing. So I was looking at different strategies to also just continue to build wealth as well.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go and join his first program, the UPW?
Yeah, I had turned 40 years old or was about to turn 40 years old. And I was thinking about my bucket list. And I'm like, hey, visiting Tony Robbins, seeing Tony Robbins has been something that's in my bucket list for like many, many years.
Okay.
Um, it was the perfect time for me. Just turned 40. And I was feeling really good. I was like, okay, what is this second half, hopefully much longer, like look like?
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's go for it. So I went by myself and I made some amazing friends there as well that I still talk to today.
Fantastic. So yours is an interesting experience. You're going there for a bucket list item, where I think many other people who attend there, they want their life figured out, whatever that
Yeah,
means. So for you going into that and then going and doing some of the exercises and learning from Tony and the team, did you have some realizations that you just never thought about before? And you were like, huh, what's going on here? And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you dived in more into that.
totally. And yeah, bucket list item, but definitely because I needed a lot of self work. Like we all need some self help work.
Yeah.
So it was also figuring out like, okay, in that environment, you're in it for 12 hours, 15 hours, morning to night, and it's really just doing that inner work. It was interesting because I feel like it helped me find my inner voice, but it also helped me find those things that maybe were a little bit darker inside of me and the reasons behind it. and it allowed me to really understand and appreciate them, and not necessarily get rid of them, but saying that, hey, those things are actually a part of me, and it's okay. It's just now
Mm.
we cohabitate
Yeah, and so you go from UPW, and then was the Fiji event. That was your first like in person thing
in person.
since
Yeah.
UPW. Yep, awesome. So rocking up first day, what were you feeling in those moments?
Yeah, I would say it was a very long flight,
Yeah,
coming from New Jersey, but I was excited. I was definitely excited, and I was excited for UPW. We walk on poles, and I was wondering like, hey, what is the thing that we're gonna do inside of Fiji?
yep,
Um, it was beautiful. What I liked about Fiji, it was also more intimate, so it was a much smaller group, and we
yes,
really got to get to know each other. So I think just walking into it, I was like, okay, I'm in Fiji,
yeah,
another bucket list item, cool.
yep,
And then I'm also surrounded by a different level of people. Um, and by that I mean it takes a lot for somebody to invest and then to travel halfway across the world to focus on self-development. So being around that group of people was just energizing. It was humbling and energizing at the same time.
definitely. Do you at any point when you were like say on route, you're on the plane, or maybe you're just arriving in Fiji, are you thinking like, what, am I making the right decision here? Was this money going to be worth it? Was it any of those thoughts or anything similar come up?
I would say that friends probably judged me a bit, saying, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
But I've always been on like a personal growth journey, and I do believe that you should invest to like there's no better investment than it is that you can invest in than yourself. So from the investment perspective, I was okay with it. I think it was the time commitment that was a lot for me. So being away for 8 days plus the travel. So at that point, I was like, wow, this is a lot of time. But it was well worth it.
definitely. I had Michael Holden on the podcast
Yeah,
end of last year. Oh no, start of this year, which was really cool. We talked a lot about the leap of faith and how
yeah.
that's really changed his perspective on his life at the time and how it's shifted to his life now. What was the leap of faith like for your experience?
So when we went up that pole and doing the leap of faith, it was they were asked us like the coach had asked us like, hey, what do you want to work on? And it was more about letting go of the past, and the focus was on building my future self. So I knew that a change was coming, and I didn't quite know what that change was, but a change was coming.
Yeah,
Um, and it was just as I went up that pole, I just released a lot of emotions and baggage, we'll say, and just went up and took that leap of faith, saying I didn't get to grab the pole. I tried, but I fell.
yeah. It's so hard to get. It was really
Yeah,
slippery. I touched it, but I
yeah.
was yeah, fell off it.
Then it's like that trampoline, I think is what it's called. Um, what they said was like some of those are not meant for you to have. Like some of you will catch it, but there will be other opportunities. So that's the mindset I went into it
Mm.
with. Like, hey, I went for it. I didn't catch it. Cool. I fell or slowly fell, but it was still an amazing opportunity, and I would do it again.
Hey, just a quick announcement before we return to the podcast. If you're someone who's been feeling a bit stuck lately, maybe you're switching careers, rebuilding your routine, or just trying to get your life together, I get it. That's exactly why I write the Midweek Motivation newsletter, where every week I share real, honest thoughts on training, mindset, and the messy process of figuring life out. Especially for guys like us, we're in our 20s and 30s, just trying to get ahead in our careers, fitness, and performance. It's short and it's personal, and it might just give you the push you need during the middle of the week when it's least motivating. You can subscribe using the link in the show notes below, or go to substack.com and search up Midweek Motivation. All right, let's get back to the podcast.
And I think that was the lesson.
Absolutely. And what was your experience like through the cleanse and the whole health side of things? Because we had, 4 days on a cleanse, and the
Yeah.
idea was to detoxify any toxins coming in from food, from stress, from other people, perhaps. So we're trying to get rid of that through nutrition, which is one of the physiological needs that we have as humans. So the idea is by the end, if you were had a lot of toxins in your body, you'd be able to feel a bit more free and focused and maybe more clear, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. Also cleanse on like the internet wasn't so good. So like there was no phone servers. So it was the social detox. There was no TV.
That's
So
so true. Yeah.
no external detox. Like it was great. I felt probably by the second day lighter. And at that time, I was also like, I'm a big coffee drinker.
Yeah.
There was no coffee, so I appreciated that. Uh, and I've since lowered my coffee intake to like, all right, one or two
Yeah.
cups of coffee a day is great. And I forget the speaker's name, but there was a speaker who mentioned that he had caught cancer at like 40 something. And if he can go back learning that what he knew, there are certain lifestyle changes that he would have introduced. So
Mm.
listening to that, I've also like I'm at that age where I'm like I've started to take things like that into consideration. And unfortunately, I know people who are relatively young in their 40s who have gotten cancer, and I'm like, wow, like that's young. So it's been more of yeah. So I'm thinking through like, okay, how do you take more ownership of your health?
Yes. Yeah. So now you're in the gym more frequently, 5, 6 a.m. You're doing your breath work. That's amazing. Anything else that you really took away from that health seminar that you still apply to your life now?
I used to be like an all or nothing person. Like even at the gym, it was like, hey, like health to me is like 5 times a week. But actually, like it could be health to me is, hey, you're going to the gym 3 times a week, or like setting a realistic expectation of what it is,
Yeah.
and then just reevaluating my rules on like mind, spirit, things like that.
That's really cool. So, and we go to the wealth section, and I assume that this is the part where you really spent time thinking more about your new AI business. Um, so, at this point, coming into the Fiji experience, were you like dead set certain, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, or were you just an idea, and this was an opportunity to really flesh that idea out and give you the confidence to launch it?
Yeah, I went in there with the idea, not fully knowing how I would launch it.
Yeah.
Um, and then not knowing I had a lot of, are there other people doing this? Am I good enough? Feelings. Is somebody else better than me? And the answer is yes in all areas, but leaving it, it's like you can't compare your first day to somebody's 1,000. And I literally say that every single day.
Yeah.
So going in there, I had this idea. Leaving it, I realized people can only hear a certain message from a specific individual. So while somebody else might teach the same thing in a certain way, I will teach it, or my team will teach it in a completely different way, but it might resonate better with a certain audience. And
Yeah.
I think I also left with a like I don't believe in like a scarcity mindset. I believe in like in abundance, and I think that there is plenty for all. And that's the how I live my day to day.
That's some really solid advice. Because you do coaching as well, right?
Yeah.
And what coaching specifically do you do?
Yeah, so it's called performance coaching. So
Yep.
it's areas on different areas of their life, whether it's health, whether it's wellness, whether it's business, whether it's strategic advising. But what it does is also look at like the person gets to define what success is for them. And then I think about it holistically. Okay, they might be saying one thing, but from a holistic perspective, are there other areas in their life what that they might not be kind of saying out loud, or might not even be realizing it?
Okay. So with some of the techniques that you've learned that you apply to clients, do you find that as a, when you say some things, are you at the same moment, are you like, am I doing that myself? Or is this something I should take my
Yeah,
own advice on?
absolutely. It's much easier to give advice to somebody else than it is to take it yourself. And I also tell myself that every day. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same sometimes with personal training. It's like, even today, for instance. So I had like a little tweak in my lower back a couple of days ago, and it's from an old injury. I know how to manage it, and but after I felt it, okay, I'm just gonna just take the rest of the session off, and took the next day off, and then I trained today, and it's most people would say, okay, firstly, you shouldn't be lifting like after
Yeah.
having a back injury, right? Um, and then also I was going off program a little bit, like I was just moving the weights
Yeah.
fine. And then, okay, let's just try to go a little bit heavier. This has been only 2 days after, right? And so
Yeah.
I hit like my clean and jerk which is like I end up going to a 95% of my 1 rep max.
Right.
So in that case, like, okay, if I was a client, I probably wouldn't tell someone, okay, you're going to hit something that's almost at your 1 rep max 2 days after you've had the little tweak in your back. But like at the end of the day, we know our body. We are the only person who understand what we're really capable of. And coaching is a valuable tool to help you realize, like, well, I guess, discover who you are and who you want to be, right? But yeah, I think it's just so interesting how, like in this case, this is in a positive way where I didn't take my own advice, but I still committed to I guess, to achieve the goal that I want to be ultimately having.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like you said, you know your body, and what your body can take. So you made a judgment call based on your circumstance, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. So when, like, imagine some of the clientele you've had, and maybe they've done some self-development courses as a way to try and like motivate them or try to figure out, okay, what's actually the problem, or maybe they go to these seminars. What do you think separates those who actually take something away from coaching or from these seminars and actually apply it versus those who just keep going to the next thing, expecting things to get better?
Yeah. So I think somebody who invests in coaching has I think, a higher level of interest in being successful, if that sounds right. Because they've got a vested interest saying, hey, I know I need help in this specific area. I'm going to go out there and put my resources to get that. And not just money wise, it's time wise also. I mean, seminars are fantastic and it's a great way for people to continue the momentum. I do think that, partnering with a coach will help you kind of get things done like faster. And then what the coach will do is help you define, like, okay, here are your short-term wins, while still thinking about longer-term strategy. So that way you're having wins throughout the process versus people who go to conferences, like maybe they don't have those skill sets to say, like, okay, well, what am I going to focus on this month, this week, and how am I going to celebrate that? So coaching just really helps you make it sustainable throughout the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're on the next stage now. You completed the Master University, and now you're on the Platinum program, which is another big investment. Time. Yeah, I mean, time especially, but as well as financially. Did you go for this opportunity right after Fiji, or did you wait a few months, apply some of the skills, and then change your mind?
Yeah, no, I thought about it at Fiji. It is definitely a higher price point. Fiji, it just was not my right time, is what I felt. I did join because after Fiji, I went to Date with Destiny.
Yep.
And the deciding moment for me was a couple of different stories that they've told, but one of them was on effectively blaming somebody for who you are today. And effectively blaming essentially talks about, like, in this instance, I effectively blamed my dad. So my dad was my parents separated when I was 2, and he was an Army vet. So I didn't grow up with him. But then I realized I never thanked him for his military service, or told him about, you weren't necessarily there for me growing up, but when he came home from the military, he helped hundreds of vets find jobs. So I said, you weren't there for me, but you ended up being a parent through helping other, hundreds of families get together and helping other families, like, be whole. So if I told myself at Date with Destiny, if I could have more moments like that in my life, that the Platinum investment was worth it.
Wow. Oh, thanks for sharing that. It's really powerful and such a, just a mindset shift, right? Like, you can constantly blame for being a bad parent, not being there, supporting, but at the end of the day, you can't change the past. Yeah. So, why don't you just move on from the future? And if there's an effort from both sides to try and to repair this relationship, then
exactly.
Accept what has happened and find the positive, right? I think that's really powerful that you've managed to change this mindset. And I feel like a lot of people may have similar situations with anyone, right? Anyone close to them, family, non-blood related. And if we all had this power, we do have this power to change it, but if people are willing to find this power, right?
Yeah,
and change
exactly.
it, I think a lot more people will be happy.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one more thing off my head I can focus on.
Yep. So how are you managing now? So you're in this platinum course, very time focused investment. How are you managing that with this new company
Yeah.
and the other projects that you do?
Yeah. It is difficult. But I would say being as part of this community, everyone is uplifting each other. And we actually just came back from a trip in Croatia, and I've just got so many new ideas on how to even help and support this group moving forward. So I think what ends up happening is also is that as you start to build the community, you start to build relationships, which turn into more opportunities. So I am we'll be meeting with some of the people that I've met to follow up on like, hey, what things can we do together?
Mm.
Like as an example, somebody wants to reform education and they've built a school in Thailand. So it's like, hey, how
Cool.
do we help them to develop an AI curriculum for underprivileged children, but not just thinking about like prompt engineering, but really help guide them with the skill set to think it's like end-to-end processes. So,
Mhm.
and maybe we'll build another school in Thailand.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. That's amazing to be able to achieve something like that. So, AI Founders Academy. So you launched this, what, a couple months ago now, right?
Yeah, April 26th.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And how was the launch? Were you uh, nervous? Were you like thinking that,
Yeah,
oh, is this ready? Should I delay it? Should I even do this at all?
absolutely. And I did delay it for some time. And then what I did was I just put a date in the calendar, and I said, no, this is it. This is like the easiest. Like this is my window. Um,
Hmm.
threw a launch party. Had a demo of the community with people, and I got some honest feedback because I was thinking what I built was what people wanted, and it was, but the navigation was probably not as clear. They're like, hey, if you did this, if you did that, if you did this, if you did that. I'm like, okay. So I learned that your first pass at building something might not be exactly what people want, and that's okay. But also take their feedback with grace and say, hey, this is somebody who's telling me an easier way to do something. Like I think I was overcomplicating it and just making it way harder than it needed to be.
Yeah.
So since there, we've implemented their feedback. Membership is growing, which is exciting, and we're starting to think through like what does the second part of this year look like. And this first part of the year, only a couple of months, was around, hey, educating entrepreneurs and founders on about AI and how to use it. And what we're finding is that a lot of people also still want actual like done for you services. So we're onboarding our first actual done for you service client this month. So that's really exciting. So we're building something for somebody.
Yes. Yes. Very cool. Were you so you're building this on the side when you're working full time,
Yeah.
and then when did you finish working full time at your previous company?
Yeah. My last formal day was April 30th.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
right up until, yeah, launch.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Right up until
And
launch. So it
then
was a lot of night times and weekends just brainstorming it, working with the community architect, meeting with them every Saturday. Um, yeah,
yeah, and then boom, launch.
and then boom. Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So the entrepreneurs that are coming to go through this course, what are some of their common pain points why they come to you for it?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them really don't know where to start. And what we're finding is that we've got a mix of people who literally I just need to learn how to like what I'm doing to people who are very technical and are looking for like drone technology. So it's kind of interesting the dynamics there. So common pain points is that the mindset on AI isn't quite there. So people think AI is just a tool. And it's like, hey, we're teaching you it is a tool, but there's a certain mindset that you need to have to be able to think end to end flow. And it might not just be people think, oh, ChatGPT will solve all my problems. But it might be a mix of three or four different tools that if you're able to integrate them together, that gives you a whole end to end solution. And that's what we're teaching people. So it's like, hey, how do you think about the mindset of business, the mindset of strategy, and then using AI as a tool to kind of help implement that? And it could be AI
Yeah.
or automation as well.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite AI tools?
Oh, definitely ChatGPT. Notebook LLM is another one.
What's that one?
It's a Google product where you can embed links in it and it'll help summarize things for you. It can generate your podcast for you. It can summarize your
Okay.
your your YouTube videos and you can chat with it about your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
There's a database product called Airtable. And Airtable, if you have Airtable, you can run an entire company on Airtable. It's like
Ah,
it can be your project management software, it could be your CMS software. You can build applications on it. Another one called Make.com, and Make.com is like an integration layer, so that will help you connect one tool to the other tool, and it's really simple to use with drag and drop, point and click. Those are probably my top ones right now.
yeah. Awesome. And what's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to at the moment with your company?
Yeah.
Launch part is probably obviously the most exciting bit. It's done. Okay, you had your week or two where it's like, okay, this is cool. We got people in, and then what's kind of the next thing that's getting
Yeah.
you excited?
So probably it's nurturing the community and having the community members meet and greet each other. So we're thinking about also doing some sort of offsites where, hey, let's build your company together or let's productize your company together. So things like that. We've started to write like a book series. So I don't know if that'll come
Oh,
out specifically this year, but there will be something that comes out this year. And then also building out, we're a year ahead of building out like actual AI services. So we're front loading that work now that we've got interest in, hey, let's create this for specific clients. So we've got a list of requested products and services that people are asking for. So maybe we'll make some also our first set of hires this year too.
oh, okay. So at the moment, is it just you, or have you got a team as well?
It's me and a business partner, and
Yep.
then access to teams that I would leverage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got partnerships in place.
Right. Okay. And are you spending a lot of time on customer support at the moment?
No, actually, a lot of my time is spent on strategy.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's understanding where the businesses are today, and then like what are the process areas that can potentially be improved with AI, and hosting like AI strategy calls.
yeah. That's really cool. I think this is really exciting, like your business model, because AI is changing so rapidly, and just like, there's so much more that you can um, keep educating
Yeah,
to your audience, right? Okay, so yeah, someone can get through their course, okay, they do it, but then suddenly, maybe a year's time, there could be some big update,
yeah,
and I mean, I imagine this is kind of the direction where your course will go.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not a course per se. There are courses, but courses there will always be new courses as the landscape changes, as new tools come out. So it's a community. So we're building a movement of people that want to use AI first within their company, and we will help guide them throughout the process for as long as we're around.
Yeah. All right. That's really cool. We'll start to wrap up pretty soon on the podcast. I wanted to know, like, because you mentioned reading books. That's something you're getting into at the moment. What are some of your top reads that you've had, I guess, had recently? It could be in
Yeah, yeah,
any discipline.
yeah. So I am rereading The 4 Hour Work Week. I've read
Oh,
that
yes. Yeah.
many times before, but I'm in the process of just rereading it because I think it gets you really focusing on 80/20 principles and really focusing on like, hey, what are the things that are really going to move the needle that I want to spend my time on. I've recently read again the Motivation Manifesto by Brendan Burchard, which just helps you think about just the mindset of doing things and the why behind it.
Yeah, I have to thank you for gifting that to me. You give that to me on the plane. I think I read most of the plane, then read the rest back here. And yeah, that's such an awesome book, and I do plan on rereading it again because it's a
Good.
really powerful read. So I
I,
thank you again for gifting that to me.
I forgot that I gifted that to you. So I'm glad you're reading it. And then I just started today a book called Traction, and that was a book that was referred to me last week. So I'm on page one. But
Yeah,
I was told that, hey, this book is how this specific person runs their business. And he says, hey, you would probably find it useful. So I'll let you know how I like that one.
yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And so, apart from this potential book series that could come out this year or later on, and of course, probably a lot of new changes with your company with hiring. Is there, I guess, anything else that we haven't discussed that might be coming up with projects in your business or personal life that you'd be keen to share?
Yeah, probably just my big thing is our focus is on how do you still keep humans throughout the process. So when people think about AI, I don't want to say it's replacing people, because it will in some aspects, but I think what it will do instead is really amplify where somebody is today. As long as they just have the mindset on, hey, let's just give this a try. And I think once they try, people can become like really unstoppable.
Thank you so much for listening to the Midweek Motivation Podcast. If you really like this episode, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify or click that like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget, if you're interested in checking out the 0 to 1 merchandise, you can use the code CAM15 to get 15% off your order, and you'll be joining a community with people who are taking their first step in whatever venture they're in. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.